In every town, in every state, families come and families go. Some people stay in the same place their whole life, while others move around in search of something new. But they all want something in common, a place to call home. The American dream is to own your own home, have a great job or business to support your family. But in challenging economic times, that dream is almost impossible. And if you have a disability, don't even think about it, unless you live in Bakersfield, California.
I've been a single mom for almost a year now, and I was married for 12 years. My son is a great kid. He's normal. He doesn't have any kind of disabilities whatsoever. I have cerebral palsy. I was born with it. Throughout my life, I've been very involved with the disabled community because I feel that it's very important to educate people that people with disabilities can be just like anyone else and have a career and have a family.
In September of 2008, Dr. Clark from Kern County Regional Center approached me about producing a documentary about adults with disabilities owning their home for the first time. And I said, well, why don't we do a workshop and I'll train adults with developmental disabilities to shoot it and produce it. And that's what we did, and that's what this film is about. As you know, this is a workshop, it's a filmmaking workshop. And our project that we're all going to work on together, we're going to take you guys through the whole process of making a film. Okay, we're going to teach you lighting, some editing, how to shoot the camera, how to set up the lights. But the project that we're all here to do, how many people have a dream of someday owning a home? Okay? Everybody wants to own a home, okay? Well, what's happening here in Bakersfield is the regional center, in conjunction with the city, and a land developer made a housing project of condos that they're making available to people with disabilities. And they're going to be homeowners for the first time, okay? And that's the Taylor Street project. This is what the condos look like, okay? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a documentary about this.
Well, we've had a couple weeks together now, and you guys have all gotten a taste of all the different kinds of things that we're learning here. And maybe you guys can help me. What are the different things we're learning about here at Film Workshop? What are the different classes that we're having?
Yes.
How to use a camera.
Right, so we have camera class. The main headings that we're kind of learning here. The technical stuff with Spark, we're learning the editing stuff with Seth, the writing stuff with Mike, and then Dale and I are doing the acting and performance-based stuff. Obviously, we're learning a lot.
All right, so here we go. It's a 50s diner, and
Hey, good looking. Why don't you come sit with us?
who do you think you're talking to, Scabby?
She's not your girl.
You know, what the trials and tribulations of owning your own home, of having a disability, and going out for the first time and being kind of on your own. Because when you have an apartment, you have people that help you and take care of things. But when you're on your own, it's a lot more responsibility. What does it mean to own a home?
A lot.
Like what?
It means a lot of independence.
And it's usually set to music. So you've got the music running, and he's running and training and fighting and practicing, and you've got this inspirational music. And then when the montage stops, you see the character grow and transform and arrive.
And there was older too.
Oh yeah, they're playing.
And there was
so,
older
they
too.
repeat. So there's 3 montages in The Lion King. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Tomorrow we're going to start shooting. Spark and Joey and I are going to take you guys out. We're going to take one of the buses.
Okay, today is the big day. We're taking a crew down from the Inclusion Workshop. and we're gonna go see what's gonna be today. What are they having today?
What's happening? Earthquake.
Earthquake drill.
An earthquake.
Cherry Street, what?
Taylor Street project and then market.
All right.
Okay. I've been asked to make some remarks this morning on this very positive day in Bakersfield in which we're giving recognition to 12 new homeowners.
I actually wanted to own my own home when I lived with my mom, but when she passed away, it was kind of hard for me because I couldn't get my own place because I had a lot of roommates at the time, moved in and moved out.
Like when I was growing up, on my end, I was put in group homes. I was staying in a group home, and then I was taking misadvantage of different people. Like they was calling me stupid, calling me names and stuff like that, and I was being bullied for kids from school and stuff.
I came a long ways, you know. I was like a farm worker with my dad, my sisters, and my brothers, and I didn't know what was going to happen to my life, you know, when he passed on. And, you know, I said to myself, I'm going to be stuck here at home for my rest of my life, taking care of my mom, you know. And I told her one day, you know, Mom, I had to move on my life, and she understands.
The dream all started with someone these families had never met.
In the beginning of 2006, a project, an opportunity was brought to me of an apartment complex that was in the process of being converted to condominiums in Bakersfield, California. So the basic intention of the project was to start a small real estate company in California and be able to offer what we consider to be a value-added type of a project.
Bakersfield is a relatively conservative area that family values are still held pretty widely within the community, that it's only been in recent years that there's been a widespread notion that we are a community of lots of different colors. I was born in a northern suburb of Bakersfield called Oildale, and I worked my whole life to get out of Kern County, and I only made it as far as moving across the river into Bakersfield. So Bakersfield is an interesting community. In a lot of ways, we have kind of a bad reputation, that this is not a place that is known for its progressive thinking and liberal attitudes and acceptance of a wide variety of diversity, although the population of the area and the kind of the mindset of the area has really changed significantly over the last 20 years. And one very, very good thing about Bakersfield is there are lots of organizations in the community that are less bureaucratic.
Bakersfield may be old-fashioned, but I've never worked with a community like this, where everybody gets involved. Goodwill, the Arts Council, the schools, the districts, the regional centers, everybody cares about people with disabilities and just the community in general. That's why it's no surprise that we're doing this project.
We still have more of a small town mindset, and so we end up with lots of different groups communicating with one another, working with one another to do things in coordination that help impact the lives of people.
My position is the Economic Development Director for the City of Bakersfield, and part of my responsibilities includes encouraging and creating affordable housing opportunities for our citizens, and that also includes our special needs citizens.
There are over 3,200 developmentally disabled adults currently living in Kern County. Over 2,400 are living in group homes or with their families. A handful of this community were about to get homes of their very own, but no one could have predicted the obstacles ahead. Well, you do that, Michael.
Oh, I thought it was her job.
No. Okay. It's your job.
You're going to take it away in a minute.
Okay. Okay, slate in, open it up. Very good, and mark it.
About 2 years ago, Mr. Bob Brenner and one of his partners came to see me. They had purchased an apartment complex and converted it to a condominium units, and it was right as the market was starting to take a downturn.
We listed the the condominiums at a reasonable, we thought a reasonable price of $169,000, and we started marketing. We put ads in all of the local papers, and we had no takers.
Meanwhile, while Bob the developer was having problems selling the Taylor Street condominiums, there was an underrepresented, underserved, disabled community right here in Bakersfield who needed and wanted a place to call home.
We don't know how it happened. We got back to contact. We started talking, and then I started talking on the phone. And I said, "You need to come to the hatchery." To hatchery? I don't know what that is. So she came up there and
the way you said it?
Yeah, and she's like, she didn't know. She really didn't know about Bakersfield and nothing about Tehachapi. So when I moved to Tehachapi, she's like, "Oh, I like it here." She didn't want to go back. So
there was 2 bowls and there's a raffle. And we're raffling door prizes at this conference. And one of the bowls will say, "Will you marry me?" in small little piece of papers.
See, whatever I pick from that gold box, it says, "Will you marry me?" No matter what.
The whole thing was, "Will you marry me?" So
Yeah.
So basically, your marriage is rigged.
Yes.
I guess in some ways I'm a soft touch, but Roy told me that I needed to get my wife, and my wife and I needed to pick up him and Petra and take them to dinner some night. So I agreed to do that, even though that meant getting my wife in the car, driving to Lamont, which is 20 miles to the southeast, and then driving to Bakersfield, which is 30 miles from our house to the north, and then coming back to Bakersfield and eating, and then taking them each home after dinner. Turns out that was their first date.
While the Lots and Roaches were having fun, Bob the developer was agonizing over the future of his property.
I'd say the end of 2007, I realized that in order to have this project move forward, it was going to take basically moving to California and spending a great deal more time in Bakersfield and representing my own interest. The project at this point was financially, it was basically a losing proposition at this point. We knew that there was no way that we were ever going to make any money. The question was, were we going to be able to break even at very best? Time just continued to go on, and we kept paying the operating expenses. Costs were, we had unknown costs that were happening every day. We had taxes that hadn't been paid by the individuals that we had purchased from. It just became a very difficult challenge. At that point, I really started to go within myself and to ask, what do I do? Because I really didn't see any end in sight. It just, it looked like we were going to be sitting on this project and potentially be in this for years to come. I decided to go to what came to me was go to the government. And I went to the city and went to the mayor. And the mayor suggested that I talk to a woman there by the name of Donna Coons.
And they were rather stressed about their ability to bring in buyers, just traditional market rate buyers. And they wondered if there was any program or anything that the city could do to help them.
Are you okay? You okay, because you look like you're in pain.
Just get it in a little closer.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. You're doing a great job.
You are doing a wonderful job.
Did you guys cut that?
No.
We're still rolling.
It's a part of reality. This is what I'm going to watch over and over
Yeah.
again.
It's going to be on the
I'm going to
trailer.
watch you in
It's
pain
gonna be on
over
the
and over again. Yeah.
We met a few times and they were a little discouraged, but we brainstormed and discovered that maybe we could help them by providing just a regular down payment assistance program to qualify just buyers that met our low-income criteria.
She took a look at the project. She loved what we had done, and she said, if you reduce your price, at that point we reduced our price from $169,000 down to $125,000. And she said, if you do that, she said, I'm going to see if I can't rezone you and put you into the redevelopment area.
And that they were very excited about that. They put together a marketing plan and proceeded to market the project with very, very limited success. And the reason was even the borrowers and buyers out there, their credit was very, very tight for those individuals.
And she said, well, Bob, here's a list of the nonprofits and the churches. Why don't you talk to them? So I did just that. I made appointments and I went door to door to the Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance Program. Met a fabulous guy there named Walter Williams. And Walter and I, we just bonded, and he went out and he brought me like 30 or 40 people, and then I went to one of the Christian churches there, Christian Compassion Church, and the head pastor there she was terrific, and she loved what we were doing, and so she announced at our church meeting, and she had about 120 people that were interested. So we had a big meeting. We got countrywide insurance to present how they could write the mortgages. We had $40,000 per person. We had close to 200 people show up from all of these different churches and nonprofits. Not one person qualified.
Again, we went back to the table. This was going on for almost a year. Brenner and his partners were becoming very frustrated. They were getting very nervous about their construction loan that they had on the property, and Bob was just pulling his hair out, quite frankly. He just was about to give up. And then we had a kind of a final brainstorming meeting, and I said, we had a gentleman in that gave us a very good proposal for some special needs housing. We thought he did have a very good plan, and we did like the kind of programs that he offered and the clients that he was serving. So I introduced the two, and that was Dr. Clark from Kern Regional to Mr. Brenner, and just kind of took off from there.
Regional centers are nonprofit corporations. There are 21 of them in California. Our reason for existence is to contract with the Department of Developmental Services, State of California, to serve people in the community, people who have developmental disabilities. And that is the reason we're here. And in essence, we work for the state, but we're not state employees. We're not officially government. We're a public-private partnership.
As soon as I started to talk to him, I really, to be candid with you, my heart just started to open up.
That's the little Roy Bear. You know what? If you had ears like that and a little cap, you guys would look a lot alike.
I said, if we could possibly do something with Kern Regional Center, this would be, to me, the greatest blessing that I could ask for.
This is the little Terrell Bear. Come on over. And that's Terrell Jr.
It might be a financial loss, but it was. It would have been the most meaningful thing to me, and I told him that, and he said, I'll never forget it. He said, Bob, let me tell you. He said, let's put our heads together. Maybe we can make this happen.
It's a dream came true because I've been telling my wife that eventually I wanted to own my own home. So this is a dream that I can't believe. I've got my own business now. So doors is opening for both of us and everything. And
the regional centers focus in on more than just independent living for the disabled. They focus on the whole person.
Kern Regional Center, we serve about 6,500 people, and we make arrangements for them to receive services that are needed for them to survive, to live in the community. And that can include providing housing, supervised housing, supported living services. We help people get and maintain employment. It can be supported employment.
My name is Tracy Minch, and I run the Kern Regional Center All-Star Cafe here at the Kern Regional Center. And our vision is to help people with disabilities learn how to run their own businesses in the community.
My name is Michael Anthony Gauthier. I'm with the Coon Regional Center, and I work for the cafe at the Coon Regional Center, and I'm getting ready to start my own business called Mikey's Hot Dog Stand, and I'm looking forward to that.
Mike has been around. He has participated in a number of programs here in town. He is somebody who really wanted to work. He is somebody who really had an idea in the back of his mind that he could go out and live more independently. My daughter has Down syndrome. She's 26 years old. She's absolutely the delight of my life, but she's not quite the same as my other two kids. And, you know, we observe those differences. We love her very much for who she is and what she is. And we think that she is every bit as deserving of an opportunity to have a decent life as anybody else.
But the whole story about you, so it's really about being kind of an outcast as a kid?
Yeah, I was the
and being
outcast.
teased
Yeah,
and
I was
stuff
there,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Were you the same way? You
No.
weren't, right? You weren't the one that was teasing him, were you?
No.
Okay, well, I don't want to hear about that. Okay, but now probably half those people that were teasing you and
When I see him now, I go back to LA.
Yeah.
And I be telling them what's going on. Oh, you doing that? Yeah. They don't believe me, you know. So.
Well, now we got it on camera.
Yeah.
We got it on camera. You own your own home and you got your own business.
Yes.
A gentleman by the name of Frank Lannerman, when the system was set up, thought that having things removed from the day-to-day operations of state government would in fact be an advantage to providing stable, long-term opportunities for people with developmental disabilities.
In past years, each state nationwide has routinely set aside housing specifically for low-income and disabled residents. But the Taylor Street Project would be much more than just a Section 8 or government housing development. This project is an opportunity for disabled families to experience the challenges, happiness, and individual autonomy that comes along with property ownership.
I'm trying to learn stuff. I'm teaching myself stuff to better myself.
Okay. So you think by owning your own home that helps you because you have to be you have to be a little more independent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regional Center has had an interest over the last year and a half to 2 years in being able to get into the affordable housing business to provide housing for our clients. Our vision for the future is not to set up ghettos, if you will have, of people with disabilities. That we think that the Taylor Street condos gave us a wonderful opportunity, and yet 50% of the people living in the Taylor Street condos, in fact, do not have disabilities.
But most Taylor Street homeowners that do have disabilities, like Patricia and her husband Adrian, are on low fixed income. So he's Adrian the second?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you call him Junior?
No, I just call him Little Adrian.
Little Adrian. Yo, Adrian!
So they said next month we're gonna be paying $400 a month next month. So that's pretty good. It'll leave us a lot more money left to spend.
And how much was your rent before?
It was 600.
600. So
Yeah.
your mortgage is less than your rent?
Mm-hmm.
Despite the low cost of the Taylor Street housing, most of the candidates with disabilities didn't qualify because of income or credit history. That's when Donna Coons came up with an answer.
Once again, I went back to Donna Coons and I sat with her and she said to me, "Bob, give me 2 days." 2 days later, she came back and she said, I found you $500,000 because I want this to happen. And from that point on, between Dr. Clark, the city, the state, and our group, we were able to put together the project, and we now will have 19 families from Kern Regional Center in Taylor Street condos.
I'll admit that the project greatly exceeded what my original contribution plan was intended, but I think at the end we participated with 12 units for special needs. We participated in a total of 19 units. The other 7 units were for folks that were just low income, were not in one of Dr. Clark's programs or working through his agencies. And it turned into, I think, a very successful project that this city and this community can be very proud of.
Normally when we do this, we have a borrower that comes in from a mortgage company who's been approved for their first, and then they come to us and we give them their down payment assistance. Where with the Taylor Street, all of the borrowers had a first and a second and a third, so we did a complete loan for them. We did all of their funding, and we made sure it was going with Kern Regional, so we made sure that all of their funding was basically no interest and stuff like that for the term of their loan, so that they could have these homes at an affordable rate.
From our buyer's point of view, the first mortgage is interest-free. The second mortgage, as first-time homeowner money, is technically a loan, but as I understand it, after they have lived in the apartment or in the condo for 30 years, that becomes, that goes away. And so they make no payments on it, and ultimately they don't make any payments on it. So while technically it's a loan, it's the kind of loan all of us wish we could get.
Is there interest being paid?
No, we agreed to charge 0 interest on the mortgages.
Can I get a loan like that?
No, you cannot get a loan like that. I'm sorry. You cannot get a loan like that.
I wanted to do something special on the interiors. We picked laminate floors for all the apartments. We retrofitted the apartments so that they had a nicer flow. We even brought in somebody to do feng shui in the apartment so that it just had everything going for it. All new appliances, dishwashers, garbage disposals, the whole works.
We're here doing an interview today with 2 of the students from the workshop here in Bakersfield, and Michael and Ryan, and Michael's going to help out with Boom on this interview.
This is a prime example of a union man in training. He's found a way to sit down, and if you could sleep through this interview, you probably would. Yeah.
I prepared all of the documents. I spent 2 straight days with the clients, an hour per client. So about 2 straight days from the time I got here until the time I left, that we had them in there signing all of their loan documents. And then as soon as I had the complete 12, I physically walked them to each department. Finance signed off on them as I sat there. The mayor signed off on them. You know, we walked them to the department so that we could get them into processing for checks so that they could be in closing by a week later.
Give him a kiss.
Oh, God.
Whoops. I meant Dr. Clark.
We just want to congratulate all of you on your new homes. You know, thanks for coming in tonight. We want to talk to you about a couple of things and try to help you out in terms of some ideas for things that are important in terms of, you know, now that you're property owners, you got to worry about keeping up your property. So basically, we're all a team and we're going to work as a team. And John's just here out of the goodness of his heart because he knows a lot, has had experiences teaching people about home ownership and home maintenance and taking care of your property.
I'm going to be pretty general, but there's going to probably be an opportunity, and I spoke with some people about possibly coming in on a one-on-one basis and going through your house and showing you where your water shutoff is, where the GFI breakers are, where the shutoff valves for everything are, where is the circuit breakers, what can go wrong, and how to solve a lot of the simple problems yourself.
We also offer home ownership classes. And ultimately, everybody that's moving into one of these Taylor Street condos has in fact completed a home ownership class and has a certificate for having attended that. This is all a HUD approved and is actually mandated around HUD supplied financing.
They teach us to learn how to handle our own money and stuff like that, to pay off our own bills and stuff like that. And we took classes for that, and I graduated for all my classes at the highest top. I'm about the best that they ever had in the classes now.
It's a good feeling. You know, we moved around a lot throughout our time together and all that, and it's just it's so nice to not have to move around and pack and go and, you know, have someone tell you can't do this, you can't do that. So it's nice. I like it.
Home is a place to live, but it's more than a place to live. It's a place where you feel comfortable, where you feel secure.
Oh, home is my place of my sanctuary, my security.
You know, I think of safety, I think of protection.
Well, when I think of home, I just think of some place that you can go that you know is your own and you feel comfortable there.
It's mine. Like, it belongs to me. It doesn't belong to nobody else.
Where you feel as though you can kind of do your own thing and not have to worry about somebody looking over your shoulder all the time.
Where I can really be, you know, I can really feel, I could be at peace.
Like my toys and all that. And you know how this house do be happy too.
You'd be happy too?
It's where you can have friends, relatives, family come and enjoy the camaraderie and the companionship.
That's what it meant to me to be able to offer these homes to these people.
Mom has a new home. Her fiance built her a brand new house, but you know, it feels good when she has a new home. When I told her about my condo, she was very proud that I just bought a new condo home.
I'm starting to get used to it now. My dog likes it.
I still visit my mom. Yesterday was her birthday, you know, and we keep in touch. I call her every day, you know, see how she's doing. She had some surgery done, and I just, you know, talk to her, see how she's doing. And I told her every day, Mom, they're gonna close the townhouse. You know, we're gonna get it. And today I told her I got the townhouse. She was so happy.
She cried?
Yes, she cries for everything I do.
How'd you two meet?
We met in high school.
Let me guess. I met him at the candy store.
Nope.
He turned around and looked at me. The picture? Yes, we said.
No.
That's when we met him, leader of the pack. During the course of one's life, you meet so many people. Some you like, some you don't like, some you love. It's how communities are built. We tend to want to be around people we love. We may have our differences, whether they're political, religious, or physical. But there's one thing that we can all agree on. There's no place like home. No place like home. So you're like kind of like the talk show host, you know, like Jay Leno. They like to sit higher than their guests. So I'm like a guest star on your show. So Hot Dog Mike you met?
Yes.
I used to work with him.
You work with Mike?
Used to.
How was he?
used to.
Is he a good guy?
Yeah.
So my question to you, Michael is going to start a hot dog stand. Will you buy a hot dog from Mike?
I definitely would.
I don't know if my doctor would let me. I haven't had a hot dog in 10 years, but if he would, I'd be right out there.
What if he had turkey dogs?
I would be first in line.
This guy is he's the best.
Well, let me ask you a question because it's a running theme. Would you buy a hot dog from Mike?
Maybe. I will. I will because I love hot dogs.
I'd buy a hot dog. I like hot dogs.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Where
good.
is his hot dog stand?
I'm gonna take the first bite. That's a good dog.
Thank you.